Okay, let's keep going. And let's look at the neuronal mechanism of aggression. In the brain, they found in the hypothalamus, and that's the brain area, and they release a neural hormone called vasopressin. So vasopressin is associated with aggressive behavior, and also decrease serotonin in the prefrontal cortex. This is the area as you think. So now they don't think, and the high level of vasopressin, that's aggressive behavior. So it turned out they become more aggressive. And they also do the experiment in animal and also in human. Not in human is they go to the prison, they find a prisoner, they are highly aggressive, they take the blood sample, and they do find a high level of vasopressin. So vasopressin is a neural hormone. It's released from the hypothalamus, but actually not to the brain only. It also goes to the blood, work like a hormone. And people are more aggressive tend to have a high level of vasopressin. So let's find the correlation of these two. And in animal studies, that's the animal study, they actually use hamster. And hamster looks cute. Some of you have hamster as pet. Actually, they are very aggressive. They are loner. And the only time they live with the other siblings is before weaning. So from day 1 to day 30, 35. And then they will go to find their own territory. They live alone. If other animals come to their territory, they fight. That's how they fight. They will pin them down and bite. And in studies, actually my dissertation, one neural hormone I studied for my PhD is vasopressin. I used hamster. And what they found is the more aggressive one, the one always win, the pin them down, have higher level of vasopressin and more vasopressin receptor in the brain compared with the one they lose the fight. So in animal study and in human study, they both find vasopressin play a big role. Okay, now let's switch gear to talk about happiness. This is a pretty new psychology. About 2000, 21st century, they started to develop a study of positive psychology. They call it positive psychology. And many study how to make you happy. And the reason they developed this is they think most psychologists, they spend 10 times more money, energy, study those negative psychology. Study depression, study anxiety, but not too much study the positive psychology. And that's what make your life happy, enrich your life. So that's their goal. They want to make you happier. You feel more positive. You feel your life has meaning. And that's when they study the happiness. So they start to have the term positive psychology. That's pretty new in 21st century. And Taben Shalom, he was a lecturer at Harvard University, but he resigned from that job. He completely focused on positive psychology. He started an institution and help people to think positively. And you can click this. He talk about a few tricks how you are able to make you be more positive. And one of them is take the grateful note. So we'll talk about it later. Let's look at the happiness. So what makes you happy? The definition of happy is subjective well-being. If you ask people what make them feel happy, they'll probably tell you this too. Right? Or if I ask you what make you happy, give you 1 second to think. First you will say money. Okay, a good job. But it turned out wealth is not. It correlated with happiness when people are poor. So if you find their income and their happiness, at first there's a linear relationship. But until they make certain level, it becomes flat. So more money won't bring more happiness. And everybody wonder, right? What's the number? So I want to tell the number. The number is in a house per house. They count per house, and it makes sense because after you have a family, usually one of the couple have to decrease their workload so they can spend more time to take care of the family. So it makes sense to count per family their income. They found the magic number 73,000. So if your family income is below 73,000, the more money you have, the more happy you feel. Yes. And the reason is you are short of money to provide the basic need for your family. And after the family income reached $73,000, and they found it become a flat. So more happy does not bring more happiness. More money does not bring more happiness. And it makes sense because if you have a job and the boss pay you $1 million, and it's actually pretty stressful. They're expecting a lot of you. And you cannot complain to other people because, well, they will say you have so much money, why you complain? And also, if you don't do the job well, there are a lot of people, there are hundreds of people want to take your position. So you always feel so stressful, your sympathetic system is so activated, you probably won't be that happy. So I hope the take-home message in this part, you still remember your goal. Eventually, after you graduate, you find a job. Your goal is not to find the job pay you the highest money, because the money, once you have enough, is not correlated with happiness anymore. It will give you $73,000 and make you feel most fulfilled job. That should be the job you pursued. So not always positive correlated, and in the Hollywood we can find a lot of people, they have so much money, they're millionaire, and they're depressed because apparently after you have enough money to bring enough food on the table, provide you enough supplement of your daily life, and then more money does not bring happiness. It's like monopoly money, just put it in a drawer, it doesn't bring happiness. And what other factor affect happiness? Have a good marriage. Yes, a lot of people say that's important. Yes, you need to have a good marriage. And a goal. Yeah, have a life goal. And good religion or faith, and being healthy. But all these studies are correlation. It's not a causation. It doesn't mean that, okay, well, I have all this, I must be happy. It's not a causation, it's a correlation. But they tend to positively correlated with the happiness level. And the last one is comparison. This is a pretty interesting one. So we always say don't compare, right? But it's impossible. We always compare. No matter you want or you don't want to compare, other people will compare with you, and also you subconsciously compare. We just compare. If we don't have comparison, we don't have all those sports games. Everybody got a gold medal. Then what's fun of that? And we still have comparison. And if you compare with other people, you win, you're happy. But if you lose, you're not so happy. So there's experiment done by monkeys. You can click it. You say they give those two monkeys paid unequally. So one give them the cucumber, and the second one give them grape. And you found the first one become very, at first he's happy with the cucumber until he found the second guy got paid with grape. So he's very, very furious. You can watch this one. So if you use comparison to make you happy, be careful, because nobody gonna win all the time, so you're gonna lose. And it can bring happiness, it can also bring unhappiness. So how to become a happy person? Development. So you found in human's brain, in the development, I tell you, human's brain is not fully cooked when you were born. So it takes a long time to develop, especially the connecting part. So the synapse part, the neural network, require a lot of shaping, take about 18 years. So how you grow up affect you a lot. Have happy parents, or make decision depends on the long-term goal, not the short-term goal. Okay, all this. Write grateful note, exercise 3 times a week, doing less instead of more. This comes from the happiness studies. They're tricks to tell you be happy. Why do this? Because your brain actually pay more attention to the negative events compared with positive. And think about, okay, you go to the bus station and you found the bus is about to leave in, and you wave your hand. And if the bus stop and let you get on and you say thank you, then you forget. You start to think about your daily activity. And if you wrong, you wave your hand and bus left, and you're gonna blame, curse about it for the whole day. And that's how our brain designed, wired, because we automatically pay more attention to the negative events than the positive events. And there's a biological reason, because positive events won't affect your chance to survive in this world, but negative events will. So our brain automatically pay more attention to the negative events, and we ignore those positive events. And how to fix that? We have to force our brain to pay more attention to the positive events. And that's, you take those grateful notes. You write down, okay, 3 grateful things you have today. And then you forget. But after 2 weeks, 2 months, when you feel sad and you go back to look at your note, and you found, oh, actually I have so many grateful things happening in my life, it will make you happier. Exercise. Study shows exercise 3 times, routine exercise a week, 3 times a week. It actually works as good as Prozac, that's antidepressants medicine. So in psychology, exercise works. And doing less instead of more, because if you are a multitasker, actually you did horrible in every task. Your brain is not designed to multitask. Your brain is designed to focus on one thing. So when you start to multitasking, you actually put all the brain energy into all this different stuff. And it turned out a lot of psychology studies show you those multitaskers actually they did horrible. They just they pay attention to too many things. And when you do less, you start to enjoy you can pay more attention to focus on the stuff you are doing. And you actually do better in those events. So do less instead of more. It's the quality, it's not the quantity. Now let's look at the sadness. So when you feel sad, okay, this is one emotion. And some people cry, right? They cry and they say, okay, they feel better. But this part is actually controversial. So some studies tell you, okay, they found those people that cry actually they don't feel better, they feel worse. But emotion is very subjective. So if you cry, and I always tell my students, okay, if you cry and you feel better, okay, do it. Don't just suppress your emotion, let it out. But I just tell you, the study show is more controversial. Some people, they cry, they feel better. Others, they cry, they feel worse. And let's look at the stress. So the definition of stress is any non-specific events and make your body respond to it. That's stress. And the stress is those outside stimulus. Could be the social, could be the toxic, So it could be the physiological, could be the psychological, and it go to your brain. And your brain gonna trigger very complicated response. First, your nervous system gonna respond to it, and your endocrine system gonna release those stress hormone, and it will affect the genes. You're gonna trigger some genes, cause some disease, and also your immune system got involved, because people under chronic stress, they actually suppress their immune system, and eventually you have the health consequence. So you get sick, or it affects your body. And the stress pathway, that's the HPA axis. When you have a stress move in, it will activate your hypothalamus. And hypothalamus is going to release a CRH, corticotrophin releasing hormone, sometimes called CRF, corticotrophin releasing factor. This is from your hypothalamus. It will go to your anterior pituitary gland, trigger the ACTH release, and this will go to your adrenal cortex, release cortisol. That's a stress hormone. So that's this pathway. Okay, let's take a short break.